Heartwarming twist. Mom exposed her incredible mistake of excluding me from Thanksgiving dinner. Thanksgiving was only days away, but instead of joy, Emily's heart felt heavy with an ache that lingered longer than it should. Living in a small town where every porch glimmered with the warm light of welcomed guests and laughter, the holiday spirit felt like a distant memory for Emily. She had spent years juggling two jobs, pouring her heart into providing for her two young children, a life filled with late-night shifts and early mornings. Yet, despite the weight she carried, she had always looked forward to the annual family gathering, a touchstone of belonging in her otherwise hectic life. Then came the call that shattered her sweet anticipation like a fragile glass ornament. Her mother's voice was a mixture of regret and finality as she announced that this year's Thanksgiving dinner would not include her. Just like that, everything she held dear, the laughter, the stories, the feeling of family, felt stripped away. Old wounds bled anew, surfacing all the hurt and disappointment from years gone by. But Emily wouldn't let this setback define her. She wiped away tears and immersed herself in the local community center, where neighbors gave their time to help others in need. The air was filled with the savory scent of roasting turkey and the joyful chatter of families coming together. As she mingled with other single parents, exchanging heartaches and victories, Emily began to realize something profound: family was not solely defined by blood. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Thanksgiving approached, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose growing in her chest. She had forged connections that felt like warm blankets on a cold winter's night. She realized this community was her family. They shared trials and tribulations over slices of pumpkin pie, their laughter filling the air with hope and resilience. But still, that gnawing feeling of exclusion lingered, a reminder of her mother's rejection. When Thanksgiving morning broke, Emily faced a crucial decision. She could stay within the comfort of her newfound community or take the risk of facing the old scars her mother had left. Thoughts swirled in her mind. Was her mother's decision a mistake, a moment of thoughtlessness? Did either of them deserve this pain? With her pulse quickening, Emily found unexpected encouragement from voices around her, volunteers who had become her support system. Steeling herself, Emily made her way to her childhood home. Each step weighted with the memories of laughter and love that once flowed freely. She knocked tentatively on the door, her heart ramming against her ribs. When her mother opened it, shock painted their faces as words tumbled out. Old wounds reeled and raw emotions burst, misunderstood expectations tangled in a storm of hurt and love. Could this moment become a bridge to healing? Time hung heavy as the door swung open wider, both women standing on the precipice of a new beginning. Emily's breath caught as she stepped over the threshold, the familiar scent of her childhood home washing over her. It felt like a wave of nostalgia, crashing into her in bittersweet tastes and emotions that tugged at her heart. The walls that held so many memories now seemed shadowed by the space between her and her mother. Emily. Her mother's voice trembled, eyes wide with an improvable mix of surprise and apprehension. The silence between them was thick, charged with unspoken words and unhealed wounds. "Mom, can we talk?" Emily's voice wavered. The fear of rejection loomed large, but this was her moment. No more hiding in sorrow. She was ready to face her truth, ready to strip away years of hurt. Her mother stepped aside, allowing Emily to enter, and the air within felt heavier, like a storm about to break. The dining room table, usually decked out with golden-hued dishes and family, stood empty and forlorn. Emily could almost hear the echoes of laughter that filled this very space in happier times. "Why?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Why didn't you want me there this year?" Her mother took a deep breath, her own pain bubbling to the surface. "I thought I thought you wouldn't want to come. You've been so busy. I didn't want to pressure you. Her voice cracked, allowing the weight of regret to slip out. Emily's heart ached. Her mother's misguided perception made her feel unseen after all these years. But you didn't even ask. I would have made it work. You know how much this dinner means to me, to us. They stood, faces inches apart, locked in a moment where all the hurt could either divide them or bring them closer together. Emily's eyes burned with tears, not of anger, but of longing for the relationship she wanted with her mother, one built on understanding and trust. I'm sorry, Emily. I thought I was trying to protect you, her mother said, sincerity spilling through her lips. Protection? Emily echoed, shaking her head. You left me out, Mom. You made me feel like I didn't belong. The pain in her voice was palpable, but with it came a flicker of hope. Let us not let one mistake define us, her mother urged, a new plea lighting her features. Let us make this right. Together. There's still time. The kinetic tension shifted in the room, an unmistakable shift from hurt into the possibility of healing. Emily took a step closer, her resolve strengthening. If they could somehow tread through this storm together, maybe they could redeem Thanksgiving, redefine their bonds, and create new traditions. Then let us do it, Mom, she said, her voice filled with a shaky but strong determination. Let us make this Thanksgiving dinner happen as a family. The corners of her mother's mouth lifted into a tentative smile, and Emily responded with a glimmer of hope. They were both ready to write a new chapter, a chance to blend the old with the new, to stitch together the fabric of their fractured relationship. As they began to prepare, the kitchen filled with the familiar warmth of cooking together. Chopping, mixing, and laughing as they navigated old recipes and new conversations. Their hearts began to heal, but Emily's thoughts darted back to the community she had found. Moments later, Emily paused, her hands stilling as realization dawned. What about the others? The families at the community center? They deserve a place at our table too. Her mother's face brightened with understanding. Let us invite them over. Everyone deserves to feel included. And just like that, a plan began to form, a chance to turn their mistake into a beautiful gathering. But just as they plotted out the guest list, a knock at the door broke through their excitement. Emily froze, a sudden wave of apprehension flooding through her. Who could it be now? Would this new chapter lead them toward greater connection, or would more old wounds threaten to unravel their progress? Emily exchanged a glance with her mother, fear flickering in her eyes. The knock sounded again, more urgent this time, pulling them both from their moment of tentative understanding. Her heart raced. What if it was someone from her past? Should I get it? Emily asked, her voice steady but her stomach twisting in knots. Let me, her mother replied, wiping her hands on a dish towel before crossing the room. As her mother opened the door, Emily held her breath. The sunlight streamed in, revealing a figure standing on the porch, silhouetted against the brightness, a tall man, with dark hair and a warm smile that could disarm even the heaviest of moods. Jake? Emily gasped, recognition washing over her. The guy from the community center, the one who had listened, offered comfort and helped her feel seen. Surprise. Jake beamed, holding up a small cardboard box tied with twine as if it were the greatest treasure in the world. I didn't think I'd get to see you again before the big day. So I brought a little something for the dinner. Her mother stepped back slightly, confusion competing with curiosity. Who is this? She asked cautiously, her eyes darting between Jake and Emily. Emily hesitated. How could she explain? Someone who helped me a lot this last year. With the center and everything. I heard you're having a Thanksgiving dinner. I wanted to join if that's okay. I brought some desserts, he said, glancing between the two of them, his enthusiasm infectious. Emily's heart swelled. Uninvited or not, Jake's presence felt like a lifebuoy in a sea of worries. Of course. Mom, can we invite him? Her mother's expression softened, and after a moment of silence, she nodded. Absolutely. The more, the merrier. Great. Jake stepped inside, his vibrant energy instantly lightening the air. Emily felt the tension from moments before dissipate, replaced with warmth and laughter as they fell into easy conversation over flour and butter. I wasn't too sure about the whole idea of bringing everyone together, Emily admitted, gesturing to the flour-covered counter. But I think it's going to be even more amazing this way. Jake smiled. Thanksgiving is all about community, right? Making sure no one is left out? Emily felt herself smile back, the nervousness from earlier replaced with something lighter. She watched her mother nod, the weariness of the past days lifting from her shoulders as she engaged with Jake. As they worked, they shared stories and laughter, piecing together a mosaic of experiences that made the moment feel bigger than all of them. With every shared memory, Emily felt the threads connecting her to both her mother and Jake weave together tighter, a tapestry of new beginnings emerging from the remnants of old pain. Okay, let us check those guest list ideas again, Emily suggested, pulling out her phone. We have to make sure everyone we can fit is invited. They crowded around the table, energy buzzing, as they jotted down names and made plans. Emily felt akin to a conductor leading an orchestra, every note aligning beautifully, but as they were about to finalize their plans, Emily received a message that made her blood run cold. "You didn't think I wouldn't come, did you?" The text read. Beneath the words were threats veiled in sarcasm. Who could it be? Who would dare challenge the moment she was trying to rebuild? The excitement in the room faded, leaving a chill in its place. Emily looked at Jake and her mother with uncertainty, fear creeping back in. Would this hurt everything they had just started to mend? What kind of storm was waiting just out of sight? Emily stared at her phone, the words blurring together, twisting into a knot in her stomach. I need to go outside for a minute, she murmured, not waiting for their response. She slipped away, stepping out into the crisp air. The porch creaked beneath her as she leaned against the railing. The world outside felt oddly warped, as if the gray clouds had thickened in response to her anxiety. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. Jake and her mom were inside, chatting and laughing. That energy was like a tether she desperately needed to hold on to, but that text it cut deeper than she expected. Memories flooded in, the whispered threats, the constant dread that wrapped around her, suffocating at times. Just when she was beginning to feel safe enough to build a new connection, someone from her past had decided to rear their head. Everything okay? Jake's voice broke through her thoughts, a gentle reminder that she wasn't alone anymore. He stepped outside, concern etched on his face. Emily forced a smile, though it felt brittle. Just needed a moment. Mind if I join you? He didn't wait for her answer, settling on the railing beside her. He seemed to sense the undercurrents of her fear, the way her hands trembled slightly as she gripped the wood tightly. Look, I appreciate you being here, she said, finally allowing her guard to lower a fraction. But I got this text, it's just not good. She glanced down at the screen and then back at him, her heart thudding hard against her ribs. Whoever it is, they don't define you, Jake said, his tone firm yet warm. You're stronger than that. Don't let them take away the joy of this moment. His words, simple yet profound, worked to soothe the turmoil inside her. Emily felt a swell of gratitude that he had stepped into her life when she needed it the most. It's just hard to remember that sometimes. This whole dinner, it feels like everything is riding on it. Jake nodded, his dark eyes serious. Thanksgiving is a chance to create new memories. You've come so far already. Don't let the past steal your future. A flicker of hope ignited within her. With every word he spoke, it felt like they were untangling the burdens she'd been carrying for so long. You really think I can move past it all? Absolutely. Just take it one step at a time. And remember, it's about who's with you now. Focus on what you can build today. A small smile broke through the haze of her worries, and Emily took a deep breath, feeling the tightening around her chest loosening. She was ready to face whatever came next. Let us go back in, she said finally. I don't want to ruin the mood. As they turned to head inside, a soft knock echoed from the door. They exchanged glances, a flash of uncertainty darting between them. It's probably just Mom or maybe another guest, Jake suggested, though there was a hint of tension in his voice. But when Emily opened the door, her heart dropped again. Standing there, framed in the doorway, was someone she hadn't expected to see. An all-too-familiar face, filled with the same smug pride that had haunted her. Emily's breath hitched in her throat. Would this visit be a flash of salvation or the harbinger of chaos? As she stood frozen, the weight of what was to come pressed down on her like an unshakable storm. What should she do now? Emily stood there, staring at the figure in the doorway, confusion and anger intertwining within her. The face before her belonged to Claire, her old high school friend, the very person who had once turned her world upside down. Claire had always possessed that uncanny ability to stir emotions in Emily, whether it was joy or dread. Today, it was a tumult of both. Emily? Claire's voice was a syrupy sweetness that had always grated against Emily's nerves. I didn't expect to see you here. I'm sorry for just dropping by. Before Emily could respond, Jake stepped forward, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. Can we help you? Yeah, I just wanted to drop off a pumpkin pie. You know, for old time's sake. Claire laughed lightly, and it struck Emily as bizarre. Was she really here for pie? You could have called, Emily said, her voice steady but laced with annoyance. This isn't the best time for come on, Em. Don't be like that, Claire interrupted, stepping inside uninvited. The warmth of the living room contrasted sharply with the chill Emily felt freezing her in place. It's Thanksgiving. Can't we just celebrate? Jake shifted beside Emily, his tension palpable. What do you want, Claire? Last I heard, you weren't keen on getting together after everything. Claire's expression flickered, but quickly morphed into a rehearsed grin. People change, you know? Besides, we all make mistakes, right? The room felt suddenly smaller as the weight of those words hung heavily in the air. Emily's heart pounded. Mistakes. For her, those were years marked by anxiety and isolation. The haunting voices of her past screamed in her mind, urging her to run. What do you mean? Emily forced herself to ask, keeping her composure, though her voice was shaky. What mistake are you talking about? She could feel Jake's eyes darting between them, confusion wrinkling his brow. Claire took a step closer, lowering her voice like she was about to share a thrilling secret. I didn't know you were going to be here. I thought the invite was only for your mom, and she hesitated, glancing away. Well, you know, the important people. The sting of her words hit harder than Emily expected. The way Claire dismissed her was all too familiar. Her fingers tightened around the railing, and she fought back the urge to let her anger show. I lived in the shadows of important people for long enough. I'm not afraid of you anymore. Look, I'm sorry, okay? Claire's tone dropped, revealing a hint of vulnerability. I thought I was helping you by keeping you away from, big parties and all that. I didn't think you wanted to be around. Helping? Emily felt a hot rush of indignation. By excluding me? Can we just drop this? Claire's voice turned sharp. I came here to be nice. Are you really going to make a scene? Jake's presence at her side felt more solid than before, and that reassurance pushed her forward. You don't get to decide if I deserve to be included, Claire. I'm not your project. The air thickened as Claire's eyes flashed with surprise and something more fear. Regret? Can we just? She floundered, seeming to realize she had lost control of the moment. Emily met Jake's eyes, feeling a solid connection. No, we can't. This isn't just about dinner. It's about seeing people for who they really are inside. Maybe I've been a jerk, Claire stammered, her facade crumbling as she sighed. But I genuinely want to reach out now. As the tides shifted and emotions swirled, a strange sense of empowerment washed over Emily. She took a deep breath, each inhale weaving together the threads of her past with the strength she had found in her present. Then show it, she replied, the authority in her voice surprising even herself. With the stakes higher than ever and an unexpected twist in the air, what would happen next? Would she be able to confront the shadows of her past without losing herself again? Emily's heart raced as she stood her ground, each word she spoke striking her with the force of a revelation. Claire's expression morphed, uncertainty clouding her features. For a moment, they were just two old friends stumbling through a shared past, the air charged with tension. Show it? Claire echoed, her voice wavering. What do you want me to do, Em? What does that even mean? I want you to stop pretending everything is fine, Emily urged, her words coming out more forcefully than she intended. You don't get to waltz in here with your pie and expect to erase years of hurt. The pie sat there, a real but symbolic gesture, tempting and mocking. Emily could almost hear the whispers of her own insecurities, like a broken record playing in her mind. She remembered the countless parties she wasn't invited to, the way Claire would laugh with others while she felt invisible, forgotten. Look, I'm not here to argue, Claire said, her voice softening. I honestly just wanted to make amends. I felt terrible about how I treated you. Jake shifted beside her, slightly relaxing his stance. Maybe you should have thought of that before now, he said, his protective nature still up front. Emily felt a jolt of appreciation for Jake. His unwavering support grounded her in a way she hadn't anticipated. In his presence, she was reminded that she didn't have to navigate this alone. Taking a breath, she forced her gaze back to Claire. Why now? What made you change? Claire hesitated and looked between them, the walls she built slowly crumbling. I don't want to be that person anymore. I've been reflecting, you know? I see things differently now. That's rich coming from you. Emily's voice dripped with sarcasm. It took you years to realize you weren't the center of the universe? Hey, Claire shot back defensively. Stop being a victim, Em. I didn't know. Is it really so hard to believe I wanted to support you? Emily felt fire in her belly rise. Support? You thought excluding me was support? The words escaped her in a rush, potent with years of bottled emotion. Claire's demeanor shifted as she swallowed hard, her bravado flickering like a candle in a gust of wind. You don't know me. You don't know what it's like to be scared of being left out or being a bad friend. Silence enveloped them. Emily weighed Claire's words, battling between the familiar resentment and an unexpected swell of compassion. Maybe they were more alike than she'd thought. Addressing your own mistakes won't magically erase mine, Claire continued, stepping closer. But I want to try. I want to make it right. Can't we start here? Jake's grip on Emily's shoulder tightened. You really think a pie is enough? No, Claire admitted, her eyes shimmering with sincerity. But it's a beginning. I want to be part of your life again, Em. If you'll let me. Emily's heart raced anew, tangled between skepticism and curiosity. Could she dare to see Claire as someone who wanted to evolve, rather than the antagonist from her past? Fine, Emily said, her voice low but firm. But this isn't just about pie. If we're going to do this, it's going to require honesty. No more games. I'm all in, Claire replied, a smile breaking through her facade. It was tentative, but it radiated warmth. As the fog of resentment began to lift, a part of Emily felt lighter, a flicker of hope igniting within her. Perhaps this unexpected encounter held another chance not just for her and Claire, but for the kind of friendship she longed for. Yet, as those thoughts settled in, uncertainty loomed. Could she put her past behind her? Was she prepared for what true connection would demand? The Thanksgiving dinner beckoned, a new chapter unfolding. But would it be one of healing or of heartbreak? Would they forge ahead together, or would the fragility of trust shatter once more? The door creaked open, and the scent of turkey wafted in from the kitchen, mingling with spices and warmth. Emily's stomach rumbled, but the tension in the air made it hard to focus on anything other than the moment hanging between her and Claire. Are you really going to just stand there with that pie? Jake asked, his brow raised. Claire chuckled nervously, looking down at the dessert. I mean, it's not just a prop, you know? Emily smirked at the absurdity of it. No, it's definitely a confession in crust form. Claire's eyes softened, the playful jibe catching her off guard. Okay. How about we skip the sarcasm and get to the truth? Sounds good to me, Emily replied cautiously. Let us hear your truth, Claire. For the first time, Claire looked ready to bare her soul. I didn't know how to be your friend, she began, her voice quieter now. I didn't fit in either. When I left you out, it felt like a shield. I didn't want to expose myself. I thought it would keep me safe. Emily frowned, absorbing Claire's words. This wasn't the vindictive person she remembered. So you thought it was better to hurt me? No, Em. It was confusing. I wanted so badly to be accepted that I did the opposite of what I should have. And I saw everyone else laughing, and I panicked. I was scared to be alone. Silence fell again, thick and heavy. Emily remembered those lonely evenings, how they tangled and twisted in her heart. The sounds of laughter she wasn't a part of. The invitations that never came. Yet here stood Claire, raw and exposed. Jake broke the quiet. Thanksgiving means family, right? So can we put this behind us? There's enough love here to go around. Emily met his gaze, grateful for his steady support. Yet, deep in her heart, she wondered if Claire's words were sincere or another way to deflect. I want to believe you, Emily admitted. But trust isn't easy. You know that. I do, Claire replied, her voice a whisper. But nothing worth it is ever easy. Emily felt the warmth of those words sink in. The idea of laying groundwork for something real was both scary and exciting. Trusting Claire was like standing at the edge of a diving board, looking down at the water below, unsure if it would be a soft landing or a hard hit. I'll try, Emily finally said, her heart pounding in her chest. But I need time. We both have a lot to work through. Claire nodded, relief washing over her features. That's fair. I'm willing to take it slow if you are. As laughter rang out from the dining room, Emily felt a flicker of hope. Maybe a friendship could bloom from this clumsy, imperfect space. Let us try to enjoy Thanksgiving together, Emily suggested, her voice tentative but steady. Together, Claire echoed, a smile breaking through the vulnerability. They walked toward the dining room, side by side, as the clamor of family filled the air. The tension had softened, but the journey ahead felt daunting. As they stepped over the threshold, Emily couldn't shake the question lingering in her mind. Would this Thanksgiving bring them closer, or were their wounds still waiting to be opened? The laughter and clinking of glasses filled their ears, but in that cacophony, Emily's thoughts raced. What if the families had deeper secrets, the kind that could unravel everything? Would Thanksgiving become a day of unity or one of explosive revelations? As Emily and Claire entered the dining room, the vibrant scene greeted them. Family gathered around the table, laughter bubbling like the steaming mashed potatoes. The warmth washed over Emily, momentarily drowning out the uncertainty still swirling in her heart. Hey, look who finally decided to join us. Aunt Linda called out, her voice cheerful, cutting through the chatter. She flashed a big smile, patting the seat next to her at the table. Just in time for turkey, Jake said, nudging Emily playfully. Emily shuffled to the table, heart racing. She could see the mix of expectant faces, some curious, some oblivious to the tension just moments ago. Claire sat down next to her as they exchanged a knowing glance, that silent agreement to keep moving forward, together. The meal began, plates piled high with golden turkey, luscious gravy, and a jumble of colorful sides. Conversations flowed around them, weaving together like a tapestry. Did you catch the game last night? Uncle Mike shouted, his voice booming above the others, drawing Emily's attention. She felt a mixture of comfort and discomfort. The family spirit was infectious, yet the air still held a hint of something unspoken. Emily, how's school going? Her cousin Tara asked, freshly minted in college. It's good, actually. Busy but good, Emily replied, forcing a smile. She felt the eyes of Claire flicker to her, a quick moment of encouragement. As the meal continued, the laughter became more infectious, but shadows lingered in the corners of Emily's mind. Would Claire take advantage of this moment to fully apologize in front of everyone? Would old grudges resurface? All right, everyone. This is the moment we've been waiting for, her mother announced, standing up with a gleaming pumpkin pie in hand. Dessert time. But before we dig in, I want to take a moment to say how grateful I am for each of you. Family means everything. Emily's heart swelled, momentarily forgetting the weight of her earlier conversation with Claire. But before she could fully embrace the warmth, Claire cleared her throat, demanding her attention. I have something to share too, Claire said, her voice steady but quiet. All eyes turned towards her, the moment humming with tension. Claire squeezed her hands under the table. I know I've made some mistakes, especially with you, Emily. but I want to change that. I brought this pie as a peace offering as a start. If you'll let me. Gasps echoed around the table, and for a second, it felt like time stood still. Emily looked at Claire, who seemed vulnerable yet fierce in her intent. What do you mean? Tara asked, breaking the silence, her curiosity evident. I left Emily out last year, Claire admitted, almost trembling. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. It's something I can't undo, but I want to make things right this time, in whatever way I can. The room remained quiet, each family member absorbing the confession. Emily's heart raced as Claire's words sank deeper. Something twisted inside her, a mix of anger, sadness, and a flicker of hope. Jake cleared his throat, leaning in. That was big, Claire. And brave. I think we can all relate to mistakes. It's about what we learn next, right? Emily felt the weight of all those moments rush back. Could forgiveness bloom amidst the scars? The room was alive with chatter again, but she was trapped in her thoughts. Would Thanksgiving heal or unravel old wounds? The question hung heavily in the air, waiting to be answered. Just then, Emily caught her mother's eye across the table. There was understanding there and acknowledgement of secrets left unshared, of rifts yet bridged. Feeling the weight of this moment, Emily wondered what other truths lay hidden within her family. Thanksgiving had already revealed one. What else would be uncovered by the day's end? The chatter buzzed around the table like a swarm of bees, but Emily's mind was a stagnant pool of uncertainty. Claire's admission hung in the air, heavy and palpable. Each fork clinked against china, each laugh rang hollow in her ears, drowned by the thoughts swirling in her head. Her heart raced. What would happen next? Would Claire's pie truly be a bridge or merely a symbol of the past? She watched her cousin Tara lean closer to Claire, eager to hear more, the chain of conversation tugging at Emily's hesitance. I think what you did takes a lot of courage, Claire. Seriously, Tara said, her voice light yet sincere. The others nodded in agreement, but Emily felt her own eyes prick with unshed tears. Was this acceptance something she really wanted? Then, as if sensing her turmoil, Claire turned to her, eyes wide and earnest. I mean it, Emily. I want to be better. To be the sister you deserve. There was a moment where their gazes locked, a silent exchange that spoke volumes, shadows of a shared past flickering between them. Emily could feel cracks forming around the walls she'd built. Yet, the ache of the past loomed large, intimidating. Could she really let go? Let us dig in before the pie gets cold. Aunt Linda broke in, laughter spilling over like the whipped cream atop the dessert. Emily forced a smile, shackled by her inner conflict. Jake dove into the pie, grinning as he scooped a generous portion onto his plate. You really outdid yourself, Claire. This is amazing, he exclaimed, eyes alight with genuine delight. A ripple of excitement surged through the room, a moment of shared joy. Claire beamed at Jake, a whirlwind of emotions rushing through Emily. Deep down, she craved to share in the happiness, to lean into the warmth of family and forget the darkness of last year. But another part of her remained guarded, wary of the risks that came with forgiveness. Emily? Claire's voice broke through her thoughts, tethering her back. How about you try it? It'll be a new start, right? All eyes were on her again, an expectation filling the air. Emily picked up her fork, the weight of it heavy in her hand. She could practically hear her heart thumping against her chest as she took a small bite. The flavors burst in her mouth, the sweet and spiced pumpkin wrapped in memories and promises. A nervous giggle escaped her lips. Okay, it's really good. You might be off the hook, she teased lightly, but she felt the tremor of her own words. Laughter erupted around the table, a melody that wrapped around Emily, warming her from the inside out. But even as the atmosphere brightened, a shadow lurked in the background. Aunt Linda, ever the watchful matriarch, leaned over and whispered cautiously to Emily. Sweetheart, that kind of honesty is important. Just like Claire admitted her mistake, there's something we all need to face together as a family. Emily's stomach turned at the hint of something unsaid, something lurking just out of reach like the last piece of pie. The tone shifted, and she sensed that another revelation was waiting, ready to spill out. Her gaze flitted back to Claire, whose eyes betrayed a mix of hope and anxiety. "What do you mean?" Emily asked, curiosity bubbling alongside her rising dread. Aunt Linda glanced around the table, then lowered her voice. "It's about last Thanksgiving and the secrets we hid, the ones that hurt us all." Emily felt the heat rise in her cheeks. What could it possibly be? Would the truths hidden behind Aunt Linda's words change everything they had just begun to rebuild? The sweet taste of pie turned bitter on her tongue as she braced for whatever storm was brewing next. What revelation was the family desperately hiding? The air hung heavy with anticipation as Emily's heart pounded in her chest. Aunt Linda's words felt like a crack of thunder, ready to break the calm facade of their Thanksgiving dinner. The room quieted, eyes darting between each other like leaves caught in a whirlwind. "Last Thanksgiving was difficult for everyone," Aunt Linda began, her voice low but steady. "There were things that were said, things that were never forgiven." Emily's mind raced. What on earth could she mean? She felt Claire beside her tense up, their shared history intertwining in a mix of confusion and fear. "What did you mean?" Emily finally asked, unable to restrain her curiosity. Aunt Linda took a deep breath, glancing around the table before locking her gaze on Emily. "We thought we could protect you all by keeping things quiet. It was wrong. We thought you were just busy, but you were hurting." She paused, her brow furrowing. "Your father and I had a falling out last year, and we didn't want you to think it was about you. But you needed to know the truth. He'd been struggling with his own demons, and that spilled over into everything." A collective murmur rose from the family. Emily's heart sank. Suddenly, all those times she felt unimportant and overlooked rushed back, and the pieces of the puzzle began to fit together. "I don't understand," Emily replied, her voice trembling. "Why didn't anyone tell me? I felt abandoned. That made me feel invisible." "Because we were scared, Emily," Aunt Linda replied, her voice cracking. "Your father was battling his own turmoil. We believed keeping you away from it would help you. We thought you wouldn't want to bother with our mess." "Mess? So you thought your issues were more important than my family?" Emily's indignation flared. Her voice raised, echoing remnants of her pain. "I was looking for you, looking for us. I wanted to be included in everything, which is exactly why you should have been." Her mother chimed in, stepping forward, her face red with emotion. "We were wrong to shut you out. That's not what family does." Tears brimmed in Emily's eyes, a mix of anger and relief flooding her chest. This moment could be the turning point she desperately sought. Suddenly, the walls around her heart felt like they were crumbling, revealing both the strength of her pain and the hope for new beginnings. "Can we fix this?" Claire asked softly, braveness filling her voice. "Can we just start again? Can we stop pretending families are perfect?" Emily looked at Claire, surprised but grateful for her support. "You're still here, right? After everything?" "I am. I want to stand in the front with you if you'll let me." Claire held her gaze, sincerity pouring from her expression. Aunt Linda nodded slowly, taking a step closer. "No more secrets. No more walls. Just honesty, forgiveness, and love. That's all we need." Emily wiped her eyes and, for the first time that day, smiled a hesitant but real smile. "Okay, if we're going to be a family, let us do it right." Her voice echoed with newfound bravery. As if on cue, Aunt Linda announced, "Let us toast then to new beginnings, to healing." Everyone raised their glasses, but Emily felt an urge to say something more. "And to honesty. And to making sure no one ever feels alone again." Cheers. They all chimed together, laughter spilling forth like sunlight pushing through clouds of doubt. Emily felt the knots untangle inside her, left behind as she stepped into the warmth of the present. Her heart felt lighter as Claire placed a supportive hand on her shoulder. "Let us enjoy this Thanksgiving together," Emily said, her voice filled with a fierce conviction she never knew she had. As they dove back into rich conversations and shared dishes, the laughter painted over the scars of their past. Familiarity wrapped around them, soothing hearts once overshadowed by silence. As the evening drew on, plans for new traditions were woven. Maybe they could host friends from the community center next year. Maybe they could embrace all types of family, those bound by blood and those forged in service and connection. The beauty of Thanksgiving lay not in the perfect holiday, but in the messy, real, honest moments shared with one another. Emily closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. Perhaps true transformation and rekindled relationships were possible. She looked at her family, her heart full and light, and for the first time in a long while, she felt like she belonged. "Let us make this our best Thanksgiving ever," she whispered, heart brimming with hope, embracing the present as a new chapter to be written. Now it's your chance to join in on this exciting journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss out on our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find these heartwarming tales. Comment below your reactions and feelings about the ending. We want to know what you think. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand how crucial your support is for the channel. Let us spread the love together.